Bottom line, you can't learn if you're not engaged, and the same activities and experiences are just not going to engage all of your students. The first goal for any teacher in terms of engagement is to recruit their students' interest, to find some way to get them to pay attention, to get excited even about what they're doing in the classroom. And teachers have come up with all sorts of innovative activities and strategies to recruit their students' interest. Things like doing everything they can to connect the mathematics to the real world around them. In preschool and kindergarten, for example, instead of just pulling your students and asking them to prove to you that they can count 10 objects accurately, why not set up a play center that models something they see in the real world every day? For example, set up a McDonald's play center. Tell them that they have to interview in order to work at McDonald's, and they have to prove that they can count out 10 plastic pennies to sell 10 yellow sponge fries. And when they prove that to you, give them that visor. Tell them they're hired. Give them a certificate even. And have them be in charge at the play center. Put scaffolds there so that other students who are still learning can have something to help them out, and let those students help them out. And have the other students go to McDonald's and buy some fries. Sometimes recruiting interest is as simple as putting things your students like into the problem. So if you have a first grader that loves Pokemon, make those word problems about Pokemon. 3 Pokemon went to the park and found 8 more Pokemon already playing. How many Pokemon were in the park? Or in high school, let your students choose what they want to present about in mathematics. Their presentations may be on topics as diverse as comparing video game sales to calculating how much pizza it would take to crush a human being. Or send your students on an equivalence egg hunt. If you want them to recognize equivalent representations, or practice the order of operations and recognize when equations have equivalent solutions, why not cut up that traditional worksheet and stuff those problems into plastic eggs? Put your students on teams so they can work together. Let them hunt for eggs, which they love to do, and then have them open the eggs and match the equivalent expressions and representations, solve the different equations, and pair the equations with like solutions. It's just so much more engaging than having them do those same problems at their desks with pencil and paper. Really, there are countless examples out there to help you recruit the interest of your students. We encourage you to be creative. Get to know your students. Remember, you teach students, you don't teach math. You teach students math. It's not always possible, but whenever it is, connect the mathematics to something that they actually enjoy. It's more engaging. In worst case scenario, if you have a ton of problems for them to get through, and normally you would be inclined to put them together in a packet for them to work on individually in traditional rows, why not chunk those problems? Put them at different stations. Allow your students to make some choices at those stations. Provide scaffolds and tools to help them work on those problems. And then actually ask your students to physically get up and move every so many minutes to the next station, to build in that essential physical brain break that will send oxygen to their brains and keep them from becoming fatigued. Anything you can do, be creative.